This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning to you. Certainly hope you had a great Thanksgiving weekend and you're ready to go in this brand new week. I'm Bill Bryant. Rebecca's off today. It is Monday, November 30th. And now at 6 a.m. the latest on a deadly house fire in Lexington. It has claimed a woman's life. Also a crime alert in Clark County where police say a woman was sexually assaulted while jogging. And another shakeup at the UK quarterback position. But where is Patrick Towles headed?
We have some rain again for this morning and throughout the day. Now we go into tomorrow and actually pick up on heavier bouts of rain than what you're seeing right now. Those chilly showers in the forecast today. But then we're starting to push that rain on out tomorrow. We'll get into that forecast. I'll show you pretty chilly conditions when the rain finally moves out. Coming up.
Leading our news on WKYT this morning, we're tracking the investigation into a deadly fire in Lexington. The fire started inside a duplex on Clays Mill Road near Harrodsburg Road. That's where firefighters say they found a woman dead inside. And this morning, as WKYT's Mark Barber explains, firefighters are stressing the importance of a cheap and simple, potentially life-saving device. He's joining us now live at the scene to explain. Mark, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. And they are stressing the importance of those smoke detectors because they say there were not working smoke detectors inside this duplex. Now, the fire started burning through this duplex about 10 hours ago, but firefighters are still out here this morning making sure that the smoke and flames do not start back up anytime this morning. Now, the front yard of this duplex here is filled with belongings that belong to the woman who was killed here. Now, those belongings, they were burned by the flames and then soaked by the rain. It is a terribly sad scene. Now, there is a fire station just minutes away, so it did not take firefighters long to knock down the flames in the duplex last night. One man who lived here did make it out safely. He was treated for smoke inhalation, however. When firefighters started searching through the badly burned house, they say they found a woman's body inside. The coroner has not released her name yet. However, we are told that paramedics knew the woman because they had seen her before.
We know that she was a patient maybe that had some home oxygen, but we don't know much more than that. Crews, the ambulance crews that have made runs on her before, at this location. So they're kind of familiar with her.
Now, firefighters are still trying to figure out what started this fire. However, they say they do know that there were not working smoke detectors inside this home. They say it's a terribly sad reminder about the importance of making sure that those smoke detectors are working at all times. Now, we will have a tip for you from fire investigators about how to stay on top of that and make sure that they're always functioning, coming up on WKYT News at 6:30. Live in Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
All right, a tragic scene out there this morning. We thank you very much, Mark. And new this morning, lots of farm equipment is damaged after an overnight barn fire in Scott County. That fire started about 1 o'clock this morning on Muddy Fork Road north of Georgetown. The barn was on the ground by the time crews could arrive. A dog that stayed in the barn has not been found this morning. It is not clear how that fire started. And we're tracking a crime alert in Clark County where police say a jogger was sexually assaulted over the weekend. The sheriff's office says a man attacked the woman Saturday morning on the Veterans Memorial bypass. The attacker has not been arrested. Deputies in Clark County are warning joggers to be on the lookout and to take extra precautions. New this morning, dispatchers in Laurel County telling us that officers helped clean up a train derailment overnight. They say a CSX train derailed north of East Bernstadt about 11:30 last night. About 5 or 6 rail cars went off of the tracks near the Littontown Road area. Dispatchers say the cars were empty and no roads had to be shut down because of the accident. This morning, President Obama is in Paris, taking part in a UN climate conference. The long-planned summit, of course, comes just 2 weeks after terrorists killed 130 people in the city. And as Don Champion reports, security in Paris is now at an all-time high.
With heavily armed officers standing guard, Paris is essentially on lockdown this morning. President Obama, along with 146 world leaders, are in town for a UN climate conference. After landing in the city Sunday night, the president's first stop was the Bataclan Theater, the site of the worst bloodshed during the terror attacks 2 weeks ago. Joined by the French president and mayor of Paris, the president laid a flower and bowed his head. Riot police have been deployed in massive numbers. More than 300 people were detained by authorities after police fired tear gas at protesters throwing bottles. They were angry about the government's ban on demonstrations during the long-planned conference. In the wake of the terror attacks, the summit itself poses an enormous security challenge. Bruce Tully spent 40 years protecting dignitaries around the world.
This is the highest threat environment that I've professionally ever seen. There's so much going on, not just with ISIS, other terrorist groups and protesters. This is an incredibly critical threat time for us to be involved in.
120,000 police and Army personnel are stationed throughout the country. Security is such a concern, President Obama is staying at the heavily guarded U.S. ambassador's residence instead of a hotel. Don Champion, CBS News.
And as a part of the enhanced measures there for security, nearly 1,000 people thought to pose a risk have been blocked from entering France. Time this morning is 6:06 now on WKYT. The Kentucky football team will likely not be going bowling this year. The Cats ended the season 5-7 after blowing a 24-point lead Saturday to Louisville, who scored 31 unanswered points. A day after the game, a big team shakeup announced. Lee K. Howard is in our studio now to explain that. Lee K.
Well, Patrick Towles grew up a Kentucky fan, dreaming of one day playing for the Wildcats. But following a tough season where Towles lost his starting job, the junior quarterback announced on Sunday that he will transfer for his final year of eligibility. Towles thanked his coaches, teammates, and fans on an Instagram post early Sunday afternoon. Mark Stoops released a statement thanking Patrick for everything that he's done for the team. Stoops said that he understands the decision and supports him. Now, Towles started the first 10 games this season with 2,148 yards passing and 9 touchdowns. He will complete his degree in political science in December. Now, Towles has not announced where he will transfer to, but because he is graduating, he will be eligible to play immediately. Guys?
Okay, thank you very much, Lee K. From football to basketball, the top-ranked Kentucky Wildcats, fresh off that trip to Miami, will return to Rupp Arena tonight to take on Illinois State. But the undefeated Cats may be without sophomore point guard Tyler Ulis, who hyperextended his right elbow in UK's win over South Florida on Friday. The Cats will take on Illinois State. It'll be tonight at 7, and it will be on ESPN2.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
We have a little rain out and about this morning. The light showers are actually down toward the Hal Rogers Parkway. You got to work your way into southeastern Kentucky. Other than that, you look northbound, look westbound, over toward the southwest. You're not seeing anything on radar, right? That does not mean you don't have anything falling out of the sky. Trust me on this. These low-level clouds, you'll at least get some mist, some drizzle outside. It's just not going to be a good start to the morning. Those roadways will be wet as you take off early this morning. Hal Rogers Parkway, 421. Pretty soggy conditions as you're traveling. Anywhere from Hazard, work your way into, say, Heinemann, and also all the way toward Manchester, up toward McKee. Work your way back toward places in Madison County and also Rockcastle County, Laurel County. They're pretty wet this morning. And it's going to be a nasty commute early this morning, especially in those windy roads and those hills. It's not going to be fun. Temperatures are there in the 40s. It's a chilly start, but we'll finish off roughly around that average mark, which is roughly 50 degrees. And that's what we're going to be seeing later on this afternoon. But each and every single hour in your next 24 hours shows up at least some rain, meaning you could have that mist, you could have the drizzle, and maybe even a few light showers. Today is not your heavy rain. Tomorrow looks like the heavier bouts of rain moves on in, especially overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. Let's go through your headlines. That nasty commute this morning is going to be the same story later on this afternoon, as those roads really won't dry out anytime soon. Tomorrow looks like your better chance of rain. For all the region, I'd put it at 80-90%. Not only the better chance, but the heavier chance too. Then we slide off into Wednesday and off into next week. That's when we start to feel some of that chilly air moving on in. Let's look at your 7-day forecast, and you can see the 50s next couple of days, but then the 40s move into the forecast once we approach the Wednesday through Friday time frame. I think, Bill, by the weekend, we'll actually see those 50s move on in. The weekend won't be that bad whatsoever, but what it shows you is today and tomorrow are pretty rainy. Once that moves on out, it's long gone for quite some time. So that's some good news. You remember, it moved in late in the day on Friday, and it hasn't really stopped. It's been on and off, and it's not going to until tomorrow night, often early Wednesday morning.
Yeah, at this point, it's one or the other. Beautiful days like we had Thanksgiving and the day after, and then this over the weekend.
That's right. We'll deal with it.
And it's hanging with us. All right, Micah, thank you. It's 6:10 right now. Every morning we bring you weather and traffic together. Let's go check out Officer Don, see what's happening out there on the roads. Good morning, Don.
Good morning. Of course, the roads are wet. Now, right now, traffic's light enough, but that's not having a significant impact for us. As you look at the wide view, you can just see a little red there on Nicholasville Road. Other than that, traffic seems to be moving okay. Construction zones to deal with today, the Towles Road widening project, of course, that's one of them. They're on Towles Road between Forest Hill over to Hayes Boulevard. That's something that will cause slowdowns throughout the day, but we're handling it okay for now. As far as our drive times, as long as you take it easy, should be able to get in okay. No major issues from Nicholasville, from Georgetown, from Winchester is about 40 minutes right now. For some reason, a little slowdown there. And from Richmond's about 33 across the Clays Ferry Bridge. Now back to you in the studio.
All right, pretty normal traffic times for the most part this morning. Everybody be careful, certainly on your way in. Thank you, Don. First responders are helping a Kentucky family of 6. They lost everything in a fire. How you can help out, coming up in about 3 minutes or so on WKYT this morning. And one of the greatest to play the game of basketball ever is hanging up his jersey. Find out how Kobe Bryant made his announcement.